Welcome. In front of me is a ZTE Blade A71, and today I will show you a couple simple tweaks and tricks you can do on this device. So anyway, let's just get right into it and open up our settings application. Now, I'm going to start with a very simple one like the dark mode, which can be found under the display section. You'll see it right here, dark mode, and here we have two options. We can either turn it on, just manually turn it on or off, or you can have it set up automatically so it will turn on and off on its own based on the time of day. So for instance, when it's sunrise, it's gonna switch to light mode, and after sunset it's gonna switch back to dark mode. So it would give you best of both worlds. So during the daytime you can have it in light mode, which is a little bit easier to see, while during nighttime you won't get flashbanged by your device. Now moving on to the next option, it's going to be the it's going to remove basically the number, or not the number, but the icons from your little status bar and substitute them for just numbers. So it will clump them all up and just give you a number of them that you have. Unfortunately, I have only one, so it will change into one, I guess. Let's just navigate to notifications and status bar, and then we're looking for show only quantity on the status bar. So this little checkbox right here, and as you can see, it now adds 1. Now it also adds a little bit of an annoying icon next to it, which kind of defeats the purpose of shortening it if it still takes 2 spots instead of 1. But still, if you have like entire taskbar filled with notifications, then this will just kind of simplify it a little bit. And obviously, the notifications that you get are still accessible to you in here. Now anyway, let's move over to the next one, which is a quick silent mode. So some devices do have the little like toggle on the side, like iPhones or OnePluses. Here ZTE decided to give you an option to turn on silent mode. Unfortunately, they didn't give us an option to turn it off, not as far as I can tell. So what you can do is press power key and volume up at the same time. Before I do so, I'm going to just show you. As you can see, right now it is set to not silent, because the notifications will vibrate. Now if I go back, you can see that it is only vibrate, so silent mode. Now if I press it again, you can see that it still didn't change it. It's still in silent mode. Now if that is something that you don't like, maybe you just turn it on by mistake when you press like 2 buttons, or just maybe you put it in your pocket and it turns on, drop it in your purse, whatever the case may be. If it annoys you for reasons that it might be just turning on its own in a way, you can turn it off. And that would be in sounds, and right here, switch to silent vibrate. So this is the option, and you just turn it off. And now, oops, I also turned that off. Okay, there we go. So now if I press on it, as you can see, it just brings up the volume, because I did press volume up and there's nothing with the combo assigned anymore. So it's doing basically nothing. So there we go, you can turn it off in here. Now, next thing that I'm going to show is the layout of your home screen. So just hold your finger on the empty space where you don't have any icons, and there we can navigate into settings quickly, and we have a couple of different options associated with strictly our home screen. So we have home screen mode as an example. Here we have by default enabled home screen with app drawer, and this is what this option is. And then we have the typical kind of like iPhone feel, where all your installed applications are on your home screen and just distributed between several pages. And then last option is the easy mode, which is designed for elderly people or visually impaired people, because it enlarges all the icons and just kind of fits significantly less of them on a home screen, but just makes them a little bit easier to access. So select whichever one you want. Another thing, if you're not using the easy mode, you can also change the icon layout, which will also just cram more icons in a space. So you can see this by default, I believe it's set to 6x4, but you can enable the 6x5, so it will now fit 6 icons across. So that will give you a little bit more room for applications in general on your home screen. And let's move over to the last thing that I want to show you, which is again under settings and features. Here we have a couple options. We have system navigation, so in here you can change it to gesture navigation if that is something that you want to use, or maybe you want to bring back the default buttons with the back, home and recent instead. So you can swap them here, but also under gestures and motions you will find a bunch of other handy little options that can just enable or disable if you found them out by just them being enabled for some reason. So we have things like rise to wake, auto answer, pocket mode, flip to mute, which is enabled by default. These are all default options, so for you it should look about the same. Snooze, dismiss, and alarm. Change to the earpiece. Not exactly sure what this will refer to. Let's see. Put the phone to your ear to turn off. Oh, that's actually quite neat. So I guess if you're using a speakerphone, this is actually for just a speakerphone, it will turn it off and just realize that you're now putting it next to your ear. Now, it's neat probably for the people that actually use speakerphone and place it closer to the ear. It's not a very handy option because they're usually placing it to hear it better. Anyway, what else we have? Touch disable mode. Not exactly sure what that is. Let's see. Oh, so when you put it in your pocket, just the actual touchscreen won't respond. It will know that it's in the pocket. And then shake to turn on flashlight. That is a pretty nice option, though keep in mind, instead of pressing buttons like power key, which is in my opinion a better alternative, here it just requires you to shake the phone, which, I don't know, maybe if you're running, it could possibly turn it on when it's just like, wiggling around in your pocket. So that's something that you might want to test around. So if you end up... Hello? Would you like to turn on? Do I have to actually unlock the device, making this useless? Let's try. No, that's not what I wanted. Hello? It worked for a moment. I think I locked the device by mistake. Okay, so it's... Wow, this is really precise. It's literally 1, 2, 3. It turns on. If you do another one, shake, it turns off and it won't turn back on. So it is, not only does it not use a power button, it's also very precise, which in a way actually will resolve the problem that I mentioned before with it turning on randomly. So if, for instance, you're running and the device thinks that you're trying to shake to turn on flashlight, it's going to turn it on and most likely automatically turn it back off. So you shouldn't have problems like that where you just whip out your phone and flashlight is on. But obviously there's a couple of settings that can go around here and just find whatever suits your needs and enable it or disable the ones that are already pre-enabled and you don't want them. Now, with this being said, this would conclude the tweaks and tricks that I want to show you, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.